Lucy tried to take my soul, but I'm still G. I can't take it now. You've gone far too long. Off with this head on.
Yo! Wow. Wow. Hello. If you weren't here this summer, we had a ton of fun. And but here's what's crazy about it. It's in the past. So like we can't like re-access it unless you can like remember all the memories. You can go watch the summer doc and be like, ooh, that was fun, but it's in the past. And there's this amazing thinker who one time said this. He said this, it does not matter. It's in the past. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Lion King? Oh, I'm not that old, right? I'm that old. It does not, Rafiki, right? That's his name, right? He's like the monkey. He's like the monkey guy. He goes, it does not matter. It's in the past. So we have the past, right? So the past happened. It's gone. We don't get it back. That's what happens, and that's just real life. The past happened, it's gone, we don't get it back. And then right now, we're living in the present, and we have this sliver of a moment right now in the present, and it's gone. And we have this sliver of a moment in the future that's gonna happen. But what about the future, man? The future is so interesting. We can look at the past, present, and future, and this series is called Future because we're gonna look at it. We're gonna dive deep, man. What about the future? What's happening for the future? Like, future is kind of an interesting idea because the past, we know what's happened. The present, we know what's happening. But the future, we have absolutely no idea. We might have an inkling. We might be going, okay, maybe tomorrow I'm gonna go to school, or maybe tomorrow I'm gonna eat lunch at some point, hopefully. Okay, or maybe tomorrow I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna hang out with this person. I'm gonna make plans. I'm gonna do all these things. But the future is so unknown. And guess what? Here's what's crazy about the future. It's scary. It's so scary. It's legit like the scariest thing in the entire world. It is freaky scary because you have no idea what's gonna happen. You have literally no idea what's gonna happen next. There are so many things in the future that are scary, and it's kind of like, here's how scary it is. Let me paint this picture as to how exactly scary it is. Now, you guys know, like, who here, like, sets out their outfits, like, before the next day? You guys are like those people? You're those people? Okay, I'm that person. Sometimes I don't physically do it. Sometimes I mentally do it. I'm like, I'm gonna wear that, I'm gonna wear that, or I'm gonna wear that. Otherwise, when I get up, I'm like trying stuff on. I'm like, no, no. And I'll try like 5 different shirts on, and then I throw them all on the ground. So the next time I try and get them, they're just like a ball of wrinkles, okay? It doesn't work. But here's what happens. What I used to do is I used to like get a shirt. So like, let's say, I wanna wear this shirt today. And what I'd do is I'd hang it up like in my room like this the night before, and I'd be like, okay. Like I'm feeling this shirt, and maybe I'm feeling this hat, and I'm gonna hang up that hat, okay? I'm feeling this outfit. And then I'll be like, you know what? That's a great outfit. I'm gonna leave that. And then I go to bed, and then like, give me these lights right here. And then I wake up, and I literally see someone standing there, looking over me. And you can turn back up on me. I literally see someone standing there, and it's that moment where you're just like laying in bed. You're laying in bed, and you look over, you're just like, someone's in my room right now. Someone's in my room right now. And you like inch over to like the light, and you're just like, and you'll turn around, and you're like, oh, it's just my shirt. What was wrong with me? Why did I think that would be okay? And then the next time you're like, you know what? Next time I'm gonna remember that I hung my shirt up, right? And then you wake up the next time, you're just like, someone's standing right there, because you wake up and you're so delusional for some reason, and you're waking up, you're like, there is a person about to murder me. They're standing here. What do I do? Turn the light on. That's how scary the future is. Why? Because you can't actually tell if it's a person. You legit can't. It's like the monster that's climbing after you when you're walking up like the basement stairs. You know what I'm talking about? That monster, dude. He's there, and I understand. Every time I look back, he like hides before I can see him, but I know he's there. That's how scary it is, because it's unknown. There's so many unknowns when I'm sitting there in the dark, and I'm looking over, and I see this figure standing there, and it's just like this. And you're like, okay, who wants to kill me? Am I on anyone's list? Did I raw? Oh man, I took that thing at lunch. Maybe they wanted those fries or something like that. I'm going through my mind. Why is there a person in my room? Until I flick on the lights and I make it known. See, the future is a scary place, bro. It's scary. It's vicious, man. It's vicious. The future is so vicious. Here's what's gonna happen in the future. Now I'm a kind of buzzkill this real hard. here's what's going to happen in the future. You're going to die. Yes, you are going to die. That's what's going to happen. You're going to die. You're going to die. I'm going to die. Amen. You guys can go home. No, that's not how it works. Listen, we're all going to die. Your friends are going to die. That is scary. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. That is freaky. It's legitimately scary to know that one day you will wake up and the person you love the most maybe won't. That's a scary place. It's a scary place to maybe go, one day I might be driving home and the next day I'm not here. That's scary. And we can maybe even pull it back a little bit. You will die. People around you. People will betray you. That's scary. I'm not like, ooh, that's scary. Like, that is terrifying. That is terrifying to know that some of the closest people at some point in my life might betray me. It is terrifying. You know, Jesus knew it would even happen before it even happened. It's scary. The future is so legitimately scary. Like, I would sit in my room and be like, oh man, like, what am I gonna do for the rest of my life? When am I gonna do this? Oh, am I gonna get a job? Like, what's gonna happen? It's scary because you don't know what's gonna happen. And you think, well, I can try my best, but a lot of things happen by circumstance. A lot of things happen by happenstance. A lot of things don't happen the way I wanted them to happen. A lot of things happen when I didn't expect them to happen. So how am I supposed to know and expect exactly what's going to happen in the next moments? How am I going to know and expect exactly what's going to happen in my future? How do I know this? I will be betrayed. I will mess something up royally. I will betray someone else. That will happen, probably. I don't know, but there might be. There's so many unknowns. It's like floating in chaos. I'm floating in this chaos. Maybe the present, I know what's going on, but I don't know what's going to happen in the future. That's why there's conspiracy theories. They're doing this. That's why there's thoughts that take you down avenues you didn't want to go. That's why there's addictions, because there's so much security in just covering your mind so you don't have to see anything that's going on in the future, or you don't have to think about it. That's why people get drunk. Because, man, I just don't want to think about my problems that happened in the past, present, and guess what? The problems I'm going to create in the future. I just don't want to think about them. That's it. I'm too scared. And we can all walk around like cowards. But I'm not here to say that it's not scary. Like, I'm not that type of guy. I'm not that type of naive person who goes, listen, it's all going to be good. Your whole life, listen, you got this. That's not what I'm here for. That's not what you're here for. If you were here for that, you'd sit and you'd be like, oh, that's awesome. And then the minute something bad happens, you're going to be like, what was he saying? Why did he say that? He lied to me. I'm not lying to you. Stuff is going to happen. And life is going to be hard. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be easy. You're going to get embarrassed. You're going to lose people. Things are going to happen to the degree of you're like, this is what I really feared. It's the pinnacle of my fears. It's everything that I was afraid of is now happening. My life is falling apart. My world's falling in around me. That will happen. It will happen. It is guaranteed. Life has pain. Life is fear. Now, I'm going to paint this. And I'm going to repaint over it because I want to show you something. I want to show you what it's like. Now, there are 40 million people right now, currently million diagnosed people who suffer from anxiety disorders in the United States. 40 million people. That's not like a small number. And this is just diagnosed people. What about people who never get diagnosed? 40 million people. And people are like, that's a crazy amount of people who are diagnosed with anxiety. They're like, man, that's an insane amount. I can't believe that happened. You know what I can't believe? I can't believe that in a world so godless that more people don't struggle with that. That's what I can't believe. The statistics that say that it's that amount, I don't think, whoa, man, I can't believe it's that high. I say, I can't believe it's that low for how godless of a society we've gotten. Because where's the hope? Where's my hope in life? Where's my hope in life? Why wouldn't you be anxious if you have no hope? Why wouldn't you be afraid? Because there is nothing in the end. There is nothing in your life currently if you have no hope. There is nothing. And everything about today is you just worrying about tomorrow because tomorrow is so scary. And it's legitimately scary. It's legitimately fearful. That's how it is. How do more people not have that? That's what my thought is. Where's the hope? Here's the hope. Matthew 6. Do not worry, saying, what shall we eat? What shall we drink? What shall we wear? For the pagans run after these things. And your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble on its own. Each day, every single day that you have has enough trouble on its own. Why are you so worried about tomorrow? Here's what's going to happen. You're going to be so worried about the life you're going to live, you're going to get to live the life you have right now. You're going to be so worried about the death that you're going to have, you're dead right now. That's what's happening. You're dead right now because you're so focused on the death. You're not living the life. You're not living where God wants you to be. You're not living the place that he wants you to be. He wants you to be in the present, but that's what the devil loves, man. He loves that moment in the present right now because that's the only way he can touch the future. Listen, your future is determined by your present. That's how it is. Your future is determined by your present. And the fear, listen, fear can only creep in the present. It can only happen right now. It can only happen in these moments. Fear can't touch the future. Listen, it can only touch the present and make you think about the future. That's how it works. That's how it works. And the only hope in the future is the truth of today. That's how it works. The only hope of the future is the truth of today. If you don't have truth in today, if your today has no truth, if you're walking around godless like most of America is, who claim to be Christians on one side and speak nothing but lies out of the other side of their mouth, if that is how it is, you will leave so worried about what's going to happen. Because there's no faithfulness. There's no solidifying of anything. There's nothing that says, I got you. I got you. I got you. As America's gotten more anti-God, as the world has gotten more anti-God, here's what happens. God's like, I'm trying to say I got you, but America's saying we don't want you. And this happened with the Israelites many times, where the Israelites would betray God, and God would say, you know what? I'm going to give you what you want. And what you want is for me to not protect you anymore. And that's sad. You know what hell is? You know what hell is? A lot of people have this conception of hell where they believe that hell is this place that God made. Listen, he's like, I'm going to make this one place, and I'm going to put fire there, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to put demons there, I'm going to put them all there, and then when you're bad, I'm going to place you in there. That's not what happens. God created a place where he isn't. And any place without God, anything's possible to happen. The worst fears are most possible because God's the only thing that's keeping you from those things. That's what hell is. You're away from his presence. It's a place devoid of an omnipresent God, of a God of protection, of a God of hope, of a God of foundation. That's what it is. That's what's so scary about it. It's not the flames. It's not the demons. It's that God, I have allowed God to stop protecting me. I've told him, get away from me. Don't protect me. Don't give me hope. I want to be hopeless. So many hopeless people. We're so focused on tomorrow that they forget about today. I was in college, and it's like my sophomore year, and I just woke up one day, and I started worrying about stuff. And like, this never happened. I had a great childhood. I was like, why am I worrying about things? And I couldn't sleep. I would stay up, and I would just stay up and think and worry about the most idiotic, absurd things. They would just play in my mind. It was like someone just pressed play, and I was just watching it, and I would just sit and worry and worry. I would get so anxious. I couldn't sleep. I would stay up for a couple nights. And this ain't even nothing to a lot of people who have struggled with a ton of different anxieties. This isn't touching the surface. There are people who have struggled with legitimate anxiety attacks and stuff like this. But for me, this was like a new experience. And maybe you say, I've never been anxious in my life. That's fine. That's awesome. But listen, worry creeps in. And this anxiousness creeps in that tries to focus you on things that are tomorrow. Man, here's what tomorrow is. Tomorrow isn't now. Tomorrow is tomorrow. And I know that's the most trivial thing I could say, but listen, you can't control what's going to happen. You can control what's going to happen now. And God gives you control. And what you're doing when you give control to tomorrow is you're giving control away from yourself. You're giving the control that God intended for you and the authority that he intended for you, and you're giving it to the devil. You're saying, here you go. You can control what's going to happen right now because I'm going to focus on what's going to happen tomorrow. Guess what? Every single time, there's always going to be a tomorrow. Tomorrow, there's going to be another tomorrow. And tomorrow, there's going to be another tomorrow. And it's this cycle. It's this rhythm that you get in where it's like, well, today I'm going to think about tomorrow, and tomorrow I'm going to think about the tomorrow. And all you're thinking about is things that aren't happening right now, which means you'll be stuck in place, doing nothing but worrying, doing nothing but feeling sorry for something that hasn't happened yet. Feeling sorry for things that aren't there. Fear, listen, fear tries to subdue the future. That's what fear tries to do. Listen, fear tries to subdue the future. Faith is the only way to free the present. That's the only way. It's God's faithfulness, and it's your faith in his faithfulness. It's your faith in his faithfulness. Here's why God's faithfulness is so awesome. Because he has never once let anyone down, and he will never, ever let you down. That's what his promise is. And you know what? That doesn't mean that stuff's not going to happen. That doesn't mean that pain isn't going to happen. You know what? Guess what? Here's what's crazy. You will die. But God created you not a mortal being, as much as you might think, yeah, I'm going to die one day. He created you eternal, like him. You were made in his image. You are co-heirs with Christ. So when you die, listen, you're going to live forever. You're going to live forever. So where's the worry in death? It's not there. It's fake. It's a facade. It's not true. And the devil is going, you don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know what's going to happen next. Listen, I know what's going to happen next. Because he's shown me again and again and again that when my life tumbles and it's about to fall apart, he's like, I'm right here. That's what he tells me. Don't worry about tomorrow. Why is this important? Why is this important? Because it paralyzes you. You can't move. The devil, he gives you these, he takes the fears that are legitimate. It's scary. Life is scary. Life is fear. Fear is actually gonna happen. God's not saying that you can't be afraid. But he's making you strong enough to where you don't have to be subdued by those fears. He's gonna show you that when you just turn the lights on, it's just a shirt and a hat. It's just, it's not what I thought it was. I thought that it was like gonna eat me alive. I thought there was a person there who was gonna take my life. I thought there was someone watching me. And what that fear of tomorrow does, is it paralyzes you to where you go, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? There's someone here. There's someone here. There's someone here. And that's what anxiety does. It says there's someone here. There's things attacking me. There's things that are coming against me. There's things that are going against me. And you know what? That's a legitimate fear. Because it's legitimately happened before that people have broken into people's houses. It's legitimately happened before that people have gotten hurt. It's legitimately happened before. And so you're like, okay, this has happened before. I know it's happened before. But guess what's happened before? God has brought you through it before. He has been faithful before. He will always prevail before. He has done all these things before. That's what has happened. That's what has happened. And when you're paralyzed by fear, what he doesn't do is go, don't be afraid. He goes, you know what? don't be afraid because I. He doesn't just tell you just to not to be afraid just because of not being afraid. He tells you because I am with you. If he just says, hey man, don't be afraid. If there's a lion and you're like, hey dude, don't be afraid, she doesn't bite. I'm gonna be like, yeah, right. That doesn't make sense, right? But if there's a fence, now I believe you. Now I believe you. I'm paralyzed here, looking at this shadow. That's what fear is. That's what fear of the devil is. It's a shadow masquerading as something else, something bigger. It's going, look at me, I'm scary. And the devil turns those lights off, and you're like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I'm so afraid. There is something that's happening right now. God doesn't go, he doesn't take away the figure. He gives you the strength to stand up, turn the lights on. That's what he does. And I was so anxious. And I thought that God was supposed to take away what I thought were problems. And he's like, I'm not going to take away those problems. I'm going to make you stronger enough for those problems. Why would I take away those problems? You would never get stronger. You would never grow. If I took away that shirt and that hat that you set up, yeah, maybe you might not wake up afraid, but guess what? You might not wake up stronger the next day, and stronger the next day, and stronger the next day, to the point where I'm going to take on anything the devil slings at me. Not because of my strength, but because, Lord, you have shown me before that you have been faithful, and I don't have to subdue myself in fear. I don't have to be bonded. I don't have to be shackled in chains, afraid and paralyzed of what I think I might see, the shadow of an image that doesn't even exist. I'm not going to get rid of those fears. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give you the strength to stand up, flick the lights on, and go, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? There's pain. You know, some of you are moving into a position at work. You're moving into a future job. Some of you don't know what you're going to do for your future job. That's a scary place. And you're looking at it going, God, I don't know. God, I don't know. But God's going like, you don't need to know. I'm going to sustain you for right now. You don't need to know right now. I'm going to sustain you for right now. Because guess what? If he doesn't give you the strength to sustain right now, you won't have the strength to sustain the future. And he prepares you right now with fears, with legitimate fears. There's a story in the Bible about a guy named Moses. And Moses, he was the head of all the Israelites. And they were wandering the desert. And there was a legitimate fear that they had. When you're in the desert, there's a lack of one thing, or a couple things, of food and water. They're like, God, Moses, the Israelites go to Moses and say, Moses, we need help. We have a legitimate fear. We're going to starve. So Moses goes to God. And he's like, what do I do, God? And this is what he says, Exodus 16. Then the Lord said to Moses, I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day and gather enough for that day. In this way I will test them and see whether they will follow my instructions. And on the sixth day, they are to prepare what they bring in. And that is twice as much as they gather on the other days. I'm going to break this down. God says, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I want you to gather enough for one day. And on Saturday, you're going to gather some for Sunday. Because on Sunday is God's day. But what is he saying? He's saying gather enough for how many days? One day. One day. It says later on, it says this. And in the morning, there was a layer of dew around the camp. When the dew was gone, thin flakes like frost on the ground appeared on the desert floor. When the Israelites saw it, they said to each other, what is this? For they did not know what it is. Moses said, it is the bread of the Lord that the Lord has given to you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Everyone is to gather as much as they need. Take an omer, or about 3 pounds, for each person you have in your tent. It says later, however, some paid no attention to Moses. They kept part of it until morning. When they woke up, it was full of maggots and began to smell. Here's why this is crazy important. It's crazy important. God gives you strength for today. And he's building you on that strength for today. He's saying, okay, I'm going to lay down my strength. You know what manna was? They called it the bread of heaven, the bread of angels. He is going to sustain you, not with normal bread, not with normal food, But with the bread of life and with living water, that's what he will sustain you with. He will sustain you with more foundation, with more than you could ever get from any sort of person around you, from yourself, from anything. You couldn't get that type of sustenance from anyone else. And God says, I'm going to give that to you every day. And take enough for today. You know what? Because today has enough problems. And the minute you start hoarding all this stuff for tomorrow, you're like, well, I got to do this for tomorrow. I got to do this for tomorrow. I'm going to worry about all these things. Guess what you're losing focus on? You're losing focus on all the things that God wants you to do today. He's asking you, I want you to do this. No, God, I got to figure out tomorrow. I'm going to do this for tomorrow. He's like, no. What about right now? What about the moment you're in right now? And you're so focused on gathering all of these things for tomorrow that you're losing sight of what you have. The bread of heaven, the miracle. You're losing sight of the miracle because you're so focused on tomorrow. And that's gonna rot you alive. Just like it rotted the manna. It will rot you alive. It will tear you apart. Till you're so anxious, till you're so nervous. It will. I promise. It will. And the only way you can get out is to go, listen, God, give me the strength for right now so I can turn on these lights and see how fake the devil's fears are. That's the only way. And you know what? I'm going to be scared. But give me the strength for when I'm scared tomorrow. And give me the strength for when I'm scared the next day and the next day. Give me the strength then. I don't need that now. I need that right now for today. This moment I'm in. He gives us today. He gives us that manna from heaven. He gives that to you. From heaven above, he gives his son. It's kind of a sweet correlation that God rained manna down from heaven to sustain his people. And then later, he sent the bread of life, Jesus, for you, to sustain you through today. That's why he did what he did. That's why he was a God who gave. This is on my heart. I was like thinking about this, and I started like getting overwhelmed. I started getting nervous for this message, which was ironic, right? Because this is real close to home. I could go home, and my human nature is to easily think about all the things that happened that went wrong and to worry about them happening again. That's how my brain functions. It's right or wrong. It's how it works. And I'm fighting against it. And God is telling me, listen, you have the strength, not by yourself. You don't have that strength by yourself. Without God, why doesn't everyone have anxiety? A full disorder. Because the world is terrifying. But my God is way bigger. And there are people who walk around so scared. This is what you're scared of. It's nothing. And it might look scary in the dark, but he's flicking those lights on. He's going, look at what you're scared of. I'm right here. You're letting that fear take you, and it's choking you. It's choking you alive. You can't breathe. You can't speak. You can't talk. You can't interact with people. You can't even think about what's happening in the moment because it's choking you. It has its hold on you. And it's so fake. And it's so wrong. God's saying, I'll give you the strength right now, in this moment. Not tomorrow. You don't need it tomorrow. I'll give you more strength tomorrow. Don't worry about tomorrow. Right now. Right in this moment. If that's you, what we're going to do is this. I want you to want you to close your eyes. Bow your heads. God has given you an amazing gift of today. He's given you that gift. He's given you His presence. He's given you His heart. And we're subdued by these fears. Some of them are real, some of them are fake. We're subdued by these fears that legitimately might happen. But I need sustenance. I need something to sustain me for today. I need this anxiety that is choking me alive. It's choking me alive. I need this gone, man. I need this out. It's eating me up. It's taking me down. It's removing any passion I have. It's removing any strength I have. It's removing any heart that I want. It's removing everything that I need, I know I need. I can't get past today because I'm so focused on tomorrow. God, I need you. God, I need you. God, I need you. That's you. I want you to say this with me. This is a prayer that we're all going to speak boldly. We're all going to speak loudly. The devil's going to hear us. He's going to be afraid from now. He's going to be scared from now. It's not going to be me. I'm not going to be stuck in the shadows, staring at the figure of fear. But I'm going to stand on your strength and your foundation, God. Say this with me. Say, God, today, there is no more fear that can take me down because you live within me. Because you are inside. Because, God, you sustain. The Lord is my light and my salvation. So whom shall I fear? He is my stronghold. Why should I be afraid? Why should I be anxious when I have you with me? If you say that in this moment right now, you have allowed yourself to become so afraid, so immensely afraid that you are so choked out from everything. Maybe it's with simple things. Maybe it's not choking every part of your life out, but maybe it's just taking a hold on one specific part. You can't move forward. You can't walk forward in it. If that's you, I want you to raise your hand up. Thank you. Everyone, head bowed, eyes closed. Thank you. Thank you. If that's you, raise your hand. If you haven't raised it and you know that's you, yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Listen, if you say maybe I might not be always afraid or I might not see it as fear, but I haven't stepped out because I've been uncomfortable in situations. Let me tell you, uncomfortability is fear. It's fear of awkwardness. It's fear of social outcast. Fear of being someone that people don't like. If you say, I haven't stepped out to the place I need to be, I haven't had strength in my life. If you say that's you, raise your hand. Thank you. Thank you. That's fear manifesting itself. Thank you. Thank you. In a different way. It's masquerading. That's all it does. Here's what I want us to do. The band's going to come up. I want to pray this last prayer before they come up. And this is saying, God, you're in my heart right now. You're in my heart, which means I have nothing to fear. Say, God, you are in my heart. I speak it. I know it. I believe it. I love you. Be with me forever. I accept you. Everyone said, amen.